Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to wrap up this week's theme of comfort music with a track from Waterparks. The song we're looking at is called Snow Globe, and it was requested because that has a very calming atmosphere and sound overall. Though it was made mention to me that it is not necessarily a happy song. So comfort may be an interesting word to use for it, but even if we just take it on the sonic properties, probably has some comforting components. Let's dive in. See what Waterparks is bringing to the table today. A little bit of a neoclassical cascading. Okay. Yeah.
Good morning, why'd you wake me when I haven't slept much lately? I was having that same old dream again, the one they finally took my hat and went. Cause all I hear is I love you so much, but it starts to mean nothing when my heart is shut from you. My heart is shut from you.
The reverb piano with the pitch-shifted vocals is very dreamlike. It's not even pitch-shifted, it's consistently melded. Little Scotch snaps in there. Yeah. Okay.
I've been dead since 2016, so good morning, can you fix me? My tiny little world is in your hands, so shake it like a snow globe, fuck my plans. Cause all I hear is I'm
very pop punk vocal melody.
My heart is shut from you. My heart is shut from you. My tiny little world is in your hands, so shake it like a snow globe, fuck my plans for good. 7 p.m. let it sink in. I've been living dark in the back of the deep end. Now it's 3 a.m. everybody goes home alone. Shake me up and watch me. I'm on 7 p.m.
Yeah, dude, this is catchy. This is great.
Now it's 3 a.m. everybody goes home alone. Shake me up and watch me. In the daytime I get to debate myself and quiet all the evil things to say, like everybody hates you, people miss the old you.
Dude, great secondary vocal track. Okay, wait a second. I didn't recognize the artist name, Waterparks, but that Jinx logo, I do. I just listened to that album like 2 weeks ago or something. I quite enjoyed it. I might have to dig into some more Waterparks because this was a blast. I can absolutely see why this would be chosen for Comfort Music Week. I think it is one of those songs that you just put on when you want to release all of your stresses and just chill out. It is fun, it is light, it is crisp, and it just doesn't expect anything of you. It just wants to put a smile on your face. There's so many good hooks on this. There's so many catchy rhythms. Dude, the entire pre-chorus maybe leading up into the peak of the song is crazy cool. We've got these wild like vocal ramps at the end of that passage, but also within it we have the Scottish snaps, the da 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 da. That rhythm, it just works so good there because so much of this track is fairly rigid. It's the hi-hat. It's just this consistency. So you get this little bit of syncopation there. You just kind of like snap into it, man. It's God, so good. And the song, it's ear candy, man. There's so many phenomenal production choices on this that keep the song incredibly novel from start to finish because there's so many aspects of the production that just refuse to stand still, but it never becomes noisy or chaotic. It just becomes evolved enough to feel different, for that novelty to not wear off, to still wonder, hey, I wonder what they're going to do around the corner. And I'll be honest, a lot of this does stem from the vocals. They're really the only melodic instrument here, and they are what gets the most amount of attention, both in the mix and in the production. I think if you took the vocals out of it, well, you'll kind of have a bit of a shoegaze thing going on, very moody and static, and gloomy. This is actually really interesting because I misattributed the guitar early on for a synthesizer. We have these chordal hits that just dissipate and linger, and they continue to exist in the track. There's so much reverb on these, and so they take so long to decay, but they also fizzle out until they're no longer like present in the spotlight. The initial strum you can hear, but it turns into like a fog, something that colors everything but isn't necessarily physical enough to like see it, to hear it. It becomes a main flavor into a spice, and it transitions into that around the time that the next chord comes in and becomes the main flavor before it becomes a spice. It's a really cool way of developing this, but it's also this hazy production first element of guitar creation, guitar tone, very much like shoegaze. It's not so much about what the guitar sounded like originally, but what can we do to make this work for the atmosphere we want to convey. And I think they do a great job of that. And I do think if you remove the vocal melody, which I'm talking about all the stacks of vocals, because there's a lot of vocal work going on in here, you're kind of just left with this chordal haze and the hi-hat work. Very minimal and atmospheric. I find that to be interesting now that I think about it because the chords themselves are a bit muted while also being a bit drearier. I think if you focus just on the vocals, it's easy to get this feel good idea of this track. And ultimately, that's what I ended up coming out of this track thinking. But now that I'm really paying attention to what the guitars did, the chords they were presenting, it's kind of a heavy weight, both in how they're presented and the chords they're playing. There's a melancholic turn there, as if the vocals are trying to beat this depression, trying to find joy in a joyless world. It's evocative. And I think that the hyper pop, auto-tuned, pitch corrected, formant shifted vocals kind of match that. It is trying almost too hard to counteract your environment and overcompensating for it. Now, this is also just Waterparks too, but as usual, I try to find purpose in the art, whether it is intended or not. That aspect is still in there. The heavy division between the instrumentation and the vocal production. I think the last thing I want to bring up here, and it's just a small thing, but I found it really, I don't know the word. I couldn't look away from the music video at times because I would watch and I would see, okay, dude's hitting a hi-hat. We have a hi-hat sound, but he would go to hit the snare and there's no snare. We would get a clap sound. The dude would strum his guitar, but nothing would appear for a second because all of the effects actually create a bit of a delay. It would take a half of a beat or so before the note hits. And this could also just be a discrepancy between the audio and visual. This is a big pet peeve of mine where you would see the drum hit and then you would hear the drum hit afterwards. Just the person who put the video together, the editor, didn't sync up the audio and video perfectly. I think here, though, it's purposeful. I think we are hearing a real-time effect of that guitar strum. Regardless, the guitar strums and then the note plays, and it's not a guitar at all. The vocalist sings, and I'm honestly struggling to figure out what his real voice even sounds like. There is such a division between what I'm seeing happening and what I'm hearing. This is something that has cropped up in other bands such as Battles, but I something about that worked a little better. For some reason, the separation wasn't quite as distinct. There was still a tightness there. Almost nothing here sounds like it's coming out of the instruments that I'm seeing are being played. And I find that to be a rather novel experience. There's something about that it's like seeing a dog meow or something. Like, can you make that animal do that again? Because I got to experience that again. That's odd. That's strange, but it's alluring. There's something about it. Maybe it's simply the novelty of it. But there's something very fun about watching this music video. I think that's about it. I know this was a shorter analysis segment, but it's a fairly straightforward song. Incredibly minimal, too. I mean, a lot of the drum part is just the hi-hat and a clap on every, 4 or 8 of those. And that's it. That's the whole drum part for the whole song. So there's not really as much to dive into. Let's hit some lyrics on this one, and then we're going to wrap this video up. Here we have a song about someone, well, presumably struggling to accept or mentally deal with fame. At one point, he says, "'Cause all I hear is I love you so much, but it starts to mean nothing when my heart is shut from you. I wrote down the soundtrack of giving up, and the songs go like this on my greatest hits." So we have this distance between two things. One party says, "I love you so much," and the other party doesn't really feel it. It's just words devoid of meaning. The pre-chorus says, "At 7 p.m. I've been living dark in the back of the deep end. And now it's 3 a.m. and everyone goes home, so shake me up and watch me in my..." And it trails off. We don't get the answer to that until the next verse. But this is repeated then. 7 p.m., living dark, 3 a.m., everyone goes home, shake me up and watch me. What this will eventually be is shake me up and watch me in my snow globe. For those who don't know, a snow globe is a little enclosed device with some sort of liquid in it and confetti or what's the other, glitter or little like beads that look like snow, and you can shake it up and then these little particles rise up and then there's moving with the liquid and it looks like it's snowing on whatever things are in it, buildings or streets or characters or whatever. It's something that you completely, violently rustle around for your enjoyment. In another way, it's like poking someone and saying, entertain me. I think that's what the analogy is supposed to be here. So he has a cyclical life, living in the back of a deep end, which, judging that this is from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m., it certainly signifies a bit of a night owl kind of living style. But the idea that everybody goes home also kind of implies a bit of social life here in these hours too, and that after that, he's just kind of alone. We'll actually see parts of this in the chorus. He says, I debate myself and try to quiet all the evil things I say to myself, like everybody hates you, people miss the old you, they hate everything that you've changed into. So he's certainly dealing with the comments that he reads online about himself and his band. Verse 2 says, my tiny little world is in your hands, so shake it like a snow globe, fuck my plans. He's saying, you just want me to entertain you. You don't care what it means to me. You don't care what it does to me. You don't care if I put myself into my music and the mental and emotional strain that can impart. You just want me to make music that you enjoy. Who cares what I want? And that's how he feels in this relationship to at least a part of his fan base. His world, his heart is shut off to them. He doesn't feel that they're actually saying what they are. Maybe at a time, maybe when they were smaller, he felt that connection with the community that he built around his band, but not anymore. That bridge is closed. And that's the entirety of the song. The second verse is basically the snow globe line all over again. My heart is shut from you. You say you love me so much. It's very much a rehash of the first verse with a little extra spice thrown in. The pre-chorus is the same thing. About 7 p.m. to 3 a.m., shake me up and watch me in my snow globe. And the chorus is that I debate myself, saying these things that I read online in my own voice. The outro is some layered vocals. There's a lot going on here, but there's also a lot of repetition. He basically says that I'm kind of done with all of this. He says, if life is a game, I'm going to flip the board and break the piece. You know, this is, as he mentioned at the beginning, the soundtrack of giving up. He says, because we're living and forgetting and forgiving, but I don't have sympathy for this anymore. And I think that you need me more than I need you. I find that to be really interesting. To find yourself distanced from the very people who helped you get where you are, not because you've changed, but kind of because they've changed collectively, unfortunately. Fandom is very rarely, fandom and community are very rarely ever just one person. And it's easy to correlate, oh, the fans are, crazy or rabid or whatever. But fandom is made up of a lot of different people. Most of them usually pretty normal, middle of the road. But sure, you will have some more extremist views, parasocial relationships, undeserved hate through that. And if you spend a lot of time online reading what people think of you, the bigger you get, the more opinions you can see about that and the more variety you'll see. And it certainly becomes difficult to engage with that side of the arts. Because, at the end of the day, it's about the music. That's why these people came together and formed this band. They had art that they wanted to share with the world. The unfortunate side of that is that it's very easy to get caught up in the other side of art, which is popularity and fandom. And that can certainly be draining on the experience of being an artist. And I think that's ultimately what this track is about. And I think that does line up a little bit with what I was talking about with the music of the incredibly overcompensated positive voice going along with this muted, minimal, simplistic instrumentation. how dominant the vocals are against this atmosphere and how clashing they are emotionally. It works really well from that perspective, reading it from that perspective. These are my thoughts on Snow Globe by Waterparks. What did you think of this? Is there anything that stood out to you? Anything that you would like to add on to what I said or correct me on? Do you have your own take, perspective, or opinion on this? Let me know. Toss all that down into the comment section below, along with anything else you'd like to add. In the description box, you'll find a link to Linktree, takes you here. You can find links to my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC, as usual. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.